Welcome to Crochet ADHD. I'm your host, Jackie. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. You're a one-hit wonder. I'm so happy you're here. If you are a repeat offender, a member of the GlamFam, now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. I think I've run out of commercials, off the noggin, so I'm going with theme songs. We'll see how long that lasts. I might throw in a commercial again every now and again. I don't know. This is the November LP. Everything I made, everything I was working on, everything I was thinking about doing in the month of November, all wrapped up in one beautiful package. I spent more time crocheting this month than I have in the last few months, so I'm counting that as a win. We are going to start with finished objects. Technically, this month I have 3 finished objects. I'm trying to remember if I took a picture of the first 2, and if so, these would be my squares for the Hip to Be Square Mal. One uses the color from my inspiration calendar, and the other is from Judy's Creations and Crochet. It is her bird inspiration picture. My next finished object is being sported beautifully by Miss Hetty. Okay, so technically I started with a pattern, and it is a pattern from Make and Do Crew. I can't remember the name of it right now. Okay, you start off making 2 large granny squares, which I did, one for the front, one for the back. And I followed the directions-ish. I did use a number 3 yarn, and it called for number 4. I'm using my Mary Maxim Ultra Mellow Spun DK yarn because I love it and I love this color. And I've been wanting a vest for a while. And now that I've made this one, I absolutely want to make another one just in Tunisian crochet. That's beside the point. After following the instructions for the front and the back, I got confused as to how you're supposed to do the side. So from there, I went on my own. I just kind of guessed as to how I was supposed to attach the front and the back. Oops, I'm backward. And so I just did my own thing, continuing in the granny stitch up until it was, a perfect, height, length, depth for my arms and some extra space. Left the bottom hem. I did a split hem on either side, and the back, actually, there's a few extra rows. So it's kind of like a high-low, but just barely. Then for the top, sort of added the stitches where I felt like I would have enough neck room to get through there. And then I just kind of proceeded, did my own thing. I'm pretty sure that the stitch count on the left shoulder matches the stitch count on the right shoulder. And if it doesn't, hopefully you can't tell. Yeah. And then I did ribbing around the bottom. And then I did a row of half double crochet around the neckline, and that was it. It did not take me very long. The part that caused the most issue, which I'm still not certain, and again, my brain might not be right. We already know this about me, right? Like this is not a secret. I just couldn't understand how she was explaining to do the side part. And it wasn't like you just stitch them together. She was explaining I guess making a patch, but the words were just not penetrating at all. I love how it came out. It looks super, super cute on her. It almost looks better on her than it does on me. Which doesn't make any sense in the world, right? Because she is me. We're the same size. She's literally, all of her knobs or whatever are adjusted so that it's me, but yet. So that would be my finished objects for the month of November. Next, WIPS. What? Oh, all right. Can't read my own writing. My scrap granny shawl that I worked on this year using just the scraps leftovers from my fingering weight projects. And here we are as of the November LP. Now, some truth and lie. I don't remember. Wait, the truth is, look how big it is. The lie, no, that's backward. I don't remember where I last showed you where I am. So now that I'm showing it to you right this second, I'm going to, apparently I've already removed the stitch marker. Oh no, there it is. I'm going to move the stitch marker down to where it is currently. Now, if you look at these scraps, and I'm sure you can't identify them because they're just random colors to you, which makes all the sense in the world. These are my scraps. A lot of them were just scraps that have been laying around, I'm not going to lie. So not everyone came from a project that was made this year, but it's still scraps and scrappy, and I needed to feel like I was doing something when I wasn't doing anything because, you know, I hadn't been doing anything. So here they all are. Yeah, 1 month to go, y'all. Not this is it. Like this is like 2014. No, what year? Oh my Lord, y'all. This is 2024. My year of crochet in a shawl, minus again December, what December has to hold, which I kind of like this idea, and I think I might do it again next year if I decide to do, like, if I think I'm going to be doing a lot of fingering weight projects, because Lord knows I have a lot of fingering weight yarn. I kind of like this. I think I had this idea before. Okay, here we go. It was a temperature shawl. How dope would that be? A 2025 temperature shawl. When you start it, it's going to be cold, traditionally speaking, unless you live in Australia. By the time you finish it at the end of the year, it'll be the perfect time to wear said shawl. I'm going to have to watch this again so I'll remember, because as I was saying it this time, I feel like I said it before at some point, but I don't remember, but it may have been earlier this year. I don't know. That's how the brain works. Okay, so that was my first WIP. My second WIP is actually an unexpected, whatever. Oh, so I was out of town a couple of weeks ago with Not Hetty and her fiance, and I had a lot of downtime. So I decided that I would go ahead and start putting my squares together that I've been working all year with the Hip to Be Square Mal. Now, I said when I made this that I did not want to make a blanket, and I'm still standing by that. I really do not want it to be a blanket. However, I have also learned through many, many, many fiber artists that you can say what you want, but the yarn really tells you what's going on. And apparently that's what's going on. So this is a WIP now because I have not made my December squares, but here we go.
Are y'all ready for this?
I know. I didn't want a blanket, y'all. I was thinking, foolish me, that I could make like a wrap, you know, like a rectangular wrap. So that's what I had done. I had initially put the squares together. I forget now. Okay, I think it was like this wide, and like this whole row right here, I added on after I realized that it's determining to make itself a blanket. But anyway, I thought it would make a wrap. But when I looked, you know, I tried it around and I was just like, no, this is not going to work. So I did. Oh, I guess technically this whole row right here, like the top row, I also did that in November. So that's also part of my FOs, if you want to call it that. These are the only ones that I know of in order. Everything else I literally just grabbed and put together. And I used a single crochet stitch you know, just to single crochet them together that way. Some of them have this green and some of them have some white yarn, I think. Oh, no, it's it's multicolor. I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. Variegated yarn there. And then some of it is this. Now I can tell you that this yarn right here, the rust color, this is Holst. Holst. Come on, Jackie. It's Holst. Oh, y'all. It is Holst.
A few moments later.
It's the cotton Holst yarn. You know, the cotton wool. When I remember it, editing Jackie's gonna make me look like a fool when I remember it. Tons of tails that need to be weaved in, but we're not going to discuss that because that's not what we do here. For the month of December, I think I'm either going to make, you know what? I don't know. Because I was thinking that I was going to do like a couple of rounds of granny stitch around the whole thing. And I guess it'll end up being a lapgan. I just didn't want it to be a blanket, y'all. I just didn't. Oh, somewhere, Not Hetty found some sale on Audacity because she said, I'll take it off your hands, because that was an issue, right? Like I was sitting there, I'm going over this, trying to figure out how to not make it a blanket. And her solution is to say, I'll take it off your hands. Read the room, lady. I like how it has come together. It makes sense that it's a blanket. I just didn't want it to be a blanket. At the end of December, I will show you its completed state. But I am going to have to make more than 2 squares, obviously, because I need to make sure that the ends are even. Again, hasn't been a problem because I've been making extra squares all year anyway. This is my sweater. It doesn't have a cool name yet. But I am using the Grace for the, no, it's for the frills, you know, Grace for the frills. It's the pattern that has like 4 different names, but I'm making a short sleeve version of it. I'm using Peyton's Classic Wool DK Superwash in the color Aubergine and the color Mallard Teal. I have not been working on this exclusively, so that's the reason why it's still in the state that it's in. However, I did do the sleeve and the cuff yesterday. I decided it was going to be a short sleeve shirt. Being honest here, I'm gonna block this like where it's sitting right now because there's a lump. This part right here is really bugging me, so I want to get it out of the way and then see how it falls. It fits nicely. It is currently too short for me to wear in public. I like how it's, I like the colors, and the yarn is not, it's not as super washy feeling as I would like other superwash that I've felt before. It's definitely a little more grippy than superwashy, if that makes sense. Also, I did some short rows in the back, and oh, right, Rochelle had asked in a few videos ago. I don't know. I'm still trying to play catch up, but she had asked if she had heard of anybody doing short rows in crochet, and there are a few of us. A few of us. Look, what am I saying? Like I'm somebody. There are a few pattern designers, crochet designers that use short row shaping in their garments, and I love that. This pattern does not call for it, but I decided to add it, and only problem is I can't remember where I added it, and so because I did that, I cannot remember, because I was going to put another stripe in here, but I'm afraid if I do that, it's going to, like, it's not going to be an even row. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. So I'm just going to keep going in the purple because I have plenty of the purple yarn. I still have plenty of that. I have like 7 skeins left. So I'm just going to kind of keep going until I get bored or tired. and then I'll call it done. I did this. Oh my goodness. See, it looks off center. What am I? Okay, wait. What? This is why I need to block it because, huh? But as you can see, the front is lower than the back, which is from the short row shaping. Pretty sure I did it before I split for sleeves. It was a tip that I picked up from Tony from TL Yarn Crafts. So thank you, Tony, for that. God, it looks so, oh, a tip from me in case you need this. If you're working on a garment, I mean a top, right? And you can't tell the front from the back. Usually I can tell because of where the stitches are joined in the back. But if you cannot, you just take a piece of contrasting yarn and you tie it onto the stitch in the back so you know that that is in fact the back. Okay. I am going to, again, like I said, block this just so I can get a better idea as to how it hangs, how low it's going to be, and if I can get this lump right here out of the way. In case you're wondering where the lump came from, I decided while I was doing just this one row that, because, you know, I'm doing it, it's like I'm doing all of the stitches without turning. I'm just, you know, going around and around. And I decided here that I was going to turn it and do a stitch in the opposite direction. And now that's there. I've made this pattern, I don't know, 10, 11 times. Every time I try to do something a little bit different, it's just, you know, because I'm me. This brain fart, anyway, so that would be my, is that third? That is my third and final whip. Next up, it's time to flip the calendar. Hey, 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 flip the calendar. This portion of Flip the Calendar is brought to you by Jackie's Hands. 3, 2, 1. What do we think? Ooh, okay. Pink and blue, green and white. Okay, and then there's some like sunsetty color over on this side, I think. Okay, to the jar. Right, like this. This looks Barbie. This, maybe. Pop the picture back up and see how we did. And as always, the second square, or I guess the next 2 squares, since I'm going to have 5. I think I'm doing 5. Not really sure. Jackie Body hasn't told me. Back to our regularly scheduled program. What? The future. Future plans. It's actually kind of a future is now plan, because the first thing, my husband has asked me to make him another cardigan. Huh? Y'all, I about passed out the first time he asked me to make him a cardigan. Unfortunately, I had to, okay, so the pattern size didn't go up to his size, so I made some adjustments. And then, of course, I made it out of acrylic yarn. He chose the colors, everything, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, it was mahoosive. And then it stretched. So it went from being a cardigan to kind of like a robe. And so it's way too big. And he asked me to make him a new one. Yay! I would like to make him another one using the same pattern I used before, but just using the sizing that's in the pattern, which is fine. But trying to find yarn. So my husband actually went on to, first of all, he's so cute. He went to Google and he's just like, yarn. I said, okay, that's not how you do that, right? Oh, and by the way, while we were doing this, I was in Texas and he was here. This was happening over the phone. Let your imagination run wild, because it was that. Because he's telling me all of this. I said, well, why don't you go to, I think I said Mary Maxim. So he went to Mary Maxim, and he actually did find some yarn, but I was like, okay, it has to be, medium weight. It has to be, I'm giving him all of this information. Like, I feel like at some point it was like I'm trying to teach him how to land a plane, but like I can't even see anything. I'm like, just okay, make sure it's this, How many yards is it? How many is it? Because we need to know how many yards. It was like it was surgery, y'all. It was surgery. Okay. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me see what he's looking at. So I open up my tablet and I'm go, okay, what are you looking at? And then at this point, he's off to yarn.com. Sure. Okay. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm trying to go to yarn. And then I was saying, I feel like Hirschner's is an easier site to that. Then he goes to Hirschner's. So I'm here in a whole new state. And he is here blindly finding, look, just yarn, YARN, give me yarn for my sweater. Okay. And then it was like, okay. And I said, okay, I'm finally caught up with you, honey. All right. Okay. So what are we looking at? He's like, oh, I'm tired of looking at yarn now. Can someone tell me if those are grounds for divorce? Like legit. I need somebody with like some legal knowledge, like the terminologies and stuff, like, yarnist, Americanist. I don't know, but I need some legal terms because it's been 2 weeks and we still have not chosen yarn. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just go through my stash and pick some. Now, I don't have a whole lot of number 4 acrylic yarn. I'm thinking he's going to be like,
"Ooh, baby, yeah, that's what I want. I want that right there because I know that that's all you have, and you don't want to keep that in your stash. So I'm gonna pick."
No, but the colors are almost exactly as the ones that he liked on Mary Maxim. By the way, I think the one he liked is like alpaca tweed or something, because he really likes the tweed. Oh, he did like Craft Smart, and it's like a purple color, but it's tweed. He liked that. I only have 2 skeins of that, so obviously that's not going to work because that's him. He's just difficult that way. Now, should I check in to see if Michael's is having a Black Friday sale that includes that kind of yarn and I can get him enough yarn to make that sweater? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. By the time you see this, Black Friday will have passed. But this is just thinking, this is forward thinking. But he wants a cardigan. I love that. What he would really like is a cardigan made out of yarn from Arcane Fiberworks. But that is not in the budget. And believe you me, he is not happy about that. He loves Arcane Fireworks yarn almost as much as I do. He loves it for the aesthetic part of it. Look at me, I'm using a Gen Z term, aesthetic. He loves the colors. He loves, I'm telling y'all, we watched his videos, just the dyeing process. He loves that part of it. And the fact that I like it and I use it is just, whatever. I don't think I've ever gotten any worsted weight yarn from Tyler because I want to have as much of the yarn as possible. And so, 460 yards is more than like 240 yards. I don't know if y'all knew that, but that's facts, right? That's why I have what I have, but I don't have enough to I couldn't even double it up or anything just to make. And also, I don't know if I could stand watching my husband walk around wearing a garment made out of Arcane Fiberworks yarn, because let me tell y'all. All right, this sweater right here. Come on, editing Jackie, do your thing right here. Okay. I love that. Nope. I liked that sweater a lot. 100% wool. It's fisherman's wool and wool of the Andes from We Crochet. He threw it in the washing machine.
What?
And the dryer. So my husband is not allowed to have 100% wool, and he's definitely not allowed to have Arcane Fiberworks yarn because no, y'all look. And I know, look, is he worthy Yes, as long as someone else is there to take care of it. Could I take care of it for him? Yes. Unfortunately, my husband has his quirks. So therefore, no, no, no. It's best if he has an acrylic blend or 100% acrylic. Now, I don't want to use 100% acrylic because it's stretched so much. Y'all, I'm telling you, it went from fitting him like just above his thigh or right at the thigh, and now I swear it grazes his ankles. And I started wearing the sweater, even though it is huge, right? Like the flap over this way, flap, and it doesn't have buttons. Now, I'm walking around, I got like a chopstick holding the thing together. That's a great tip, by the way. I accidentally worn it out in public before. I swear people are like, oh, that poor homeless woman. Okay, the other thing for the future is I am trying to find a make along thing for next year. I started my channel in 2022. 2023 was the shalalalong. And then this year it's been hip to be square. So I want to do one for next year. I'm still working on something. I love a pun. I love a theme. And I love 80s music. So obviously that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know. Again, I've had a couple of songs that kind of run through my head. And I know I need to go back and look at. I don't want to do another Huey Lewis song for next year. I think that I have definitely determined. Now, Michael Jackson and Prince are duking it out in my head. And right, like I can just say, if we did like want to be starting something, it just means you're going to start something. But there's no encouragement to finish it. And I don't think, I could be wrong, but I feel like in the community of crocheting and knitting and other crafts, we don't struggle with starting things. I don't I don't think we struggle with starting things. It's always the finish that's the problem. So that's probably why I won't necessarily use Michael Jackson, or at least not that song. To be determined. Okay. Next up, stuff I got. As I had told y'all last month, I had not been buying much of anything for myself. So I treated myself to something. So two somethings. One of the somethings has not shipped yet. However, I think when I last talked to you, this was on its way to me. My friend Amanda at Falling Leaf Fibers. I'm telling you, I am so happy that I have found a Louisiana dyer just because, and yes, there are others, right? Because I've ordered from others, but I don't know. I feel like just Amanda is just, she's going to be my local yarn shop for me. Just, I mean, unless somebody comes and like dethrones her, which I gotta say, it's going to take some work to do. But for the time being, Amanda is my local yarn shop. I picked up, this is called November Rain. How could I not? And the song is definitely right here blaring. I can see the video and everything. Slash standing on top of a mountain playing an electrical guitar that was not plugged in. Nobody questioned that. This is on her 8515 extra fine superwash merino nylon. It is fingering weight, 100 grams, 437 yards. I also got, what is this called? It's Enchanted Ride, and the specs are the same. Look how pretty. Look how pretty is that? I'm going to have to gather all of my falling leaf fiber yarns together and see if they have that same je ne sais quoi that all of Tyler yarns have, in that you can see the genealogy of the yarn, so that you can tell that they were all dyed by the same person. So this was this was the stuff I got in November. Thank you so much, Amanda. I love this. November Rain. It is so pretty. I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing. Nothing lasts forever, even though November rain. Okay, I lied. Oh, want to be starting something. Hmm. Oh, okay. Wait. Now maybe we can make that. That could be the thing. Like you're learning something new. If you like this video, please click that like button. Also, if you want to stick around and become a member of the Glam Fam to deal with more of this and all of my rants and this, that direction, whatever, please do me a favor and click that subscribe button. And don't forget to rock that notification bell. Until next time, I have been Jackie.